well, it's going to be November 15th. So the schedule around here at CKLS is kind of busy. So this was the day that it had to be done, but it will be archived. And after it rolls out, I'll be happy to take time with any of you who want me to log in and do some demoing and kind of show you around your site. This particular update it has a lot of things to it. There are quite a few enhancements for not only the librarians on the staff client side, but also a few on the OPAC side. Unfortunately, the way this is set up, I won't be able to show you all of them, but I'll do my best to give you a good idea about what's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and start screen sharing with you and show you the things that are happening. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is on the OPAC side. I'm not really sure how many of you ever take a trip over there, but patrons will be able to make comments and tag using emojis. So basically what the patron will see when they will get the full record view, which is what this is, the book Baby Beluga. And when they want to add their comment using a tag, they'll be able to click on the tag icon here and emojis will pop up. Then they can go ahead and pick one to their liking. These will be staff moderated and we will limit the number that can be added to the field. So in the end, this is what the tags will look like from the patron's account screen. So you can see someone, apparently they like this one, so they added the tag. Here's a couple other ones that were added. These are the tags to show from other users. So those have been approved. And again, the approval screen will be on the staff client side, and you'll see that the status will either show you that it was approved and it'll give you the term. The weighting is how many other people have used that tag. So it's something that I'm not sure our patrons will get accustomed to using, but we might as well give them a chance to try it out. I'll include a link to this in my handout for you if you want to go in and do a little bit more looking at the Bywater site. Okay, so the other enhancement, that patrons will be able to cancel their holds. So if I am in my account, let me go ahead and here, I'll just go ahead and tell you, they'll be able to cancel their holds, and the library as well as the patron will be notified by email. But the two conditions that cannot occur is when it's already in transit or if the hold is waiting at the library. The patron notes section has been improved. I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit about what I mean. I'll log in as me here. So here's my checkouts. I'm going to go over to the OPAC side of my account.
We're not seeing your checkouts. We're seeing the staff Koha side.
Oh.
Yes.
You're not seeing that?
We're seeing the staff Koha side. And it's the landing page, circulation.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to go into the OPAC now. Now, can you see it?
I can't see we can't see the OPAC.
How about there? Yeah, I'm getting there. Okay, so here's something I have checked out, and I went ahead and I added a comment here, and this comment, useful book for those learning to catalog, has been approved. So the way that works is a patron would go ahead, and I'm going to back this off to my other items, and here's a book that I have, or a DVD that I have checked out. I'm going to post my comment here. So I'm going to say, great movie. And then I'm going to submit that. And where that will be registered for approval then, as we go and look at the comment, great movie, your comment preview pending approval. So backing up on our side.
We're only seeing the screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You're only sharing the screen.
Here, if I cover it.
No, you have to share that. You're just sharing the browser on the other one instead of your whole desktop now.
How did that happen?
So if we do stop share
Sorry, guys.
and share again,
I have to pick it.
and then desktop one,
Okay.
and then it'll just show what's up
Oh.
on your desktop.
Sorry, I thought I had that
There
one
you go.
picked. Okay, sorry. Sorry, guys. All right, so let me back up and do that again. So, all right, so I have this movie, Barbie and the Pearl Princess, checked out, and I wanted to add a comment. So I populated the comment in here, great movie, and I'm gonna submit this and close the window. So what's happened now is you'll see there's a comment pending. It's telling me that. So over in our staff client side, you'll see that there's comments pending approval. So if I click on that, it'll say, I'm the commenter, Barbie and the Princess Pearl, and I can approve that. So I'll click on that and it's approved. Then it's gonna show me a whole list of all of the comments that were approved. And you can unapprove, you can delete, etc. So this has been pretty used robustly, but it's working a little bit better now. So just keep an eye on that and just check on the landing page occasionally to see what kind of comments are waiting for your approval. All right, so back to that note side. Once the notes are submitted with a lot of the other materials that we have, and let's say, I'm still kind of trying to find out a little bit more about this because this has been something that's really caused a lot of problems across all the users of Pathfinder or Koha. So sometimes the notes are not coming up into the comment or to be approved. So I'm waiting to actually experience this to see what will happen, but there's supposed to be a report that will be available for librarians to check the notes that have been submitted. They should pop up upon checkout or check in rather, and then disappear. So not only will librarians get notices, emails about it, but the patron will as well. So when this gets rolled out, I'm going to do a little bit more experimenting with it and probably will be able to give you a little bit more information. It was really intended not for recommendations, but more for what the status of the book was. So for instance, if there were pages missing and there was a DVD missing, or something was scratched, someone could put a note in there and then you would see it. But again, I do want to, some of this, if I can't experience it, I'm not really able to tell you exactly how it's going to work. So stay tuned for more information. Another nice feature that will be available is, let's say I go ahead as a patron and search for cats. So it'll bring up every available item.
Can you make this browser the full screen?
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say I'd like to have a book about cats, but I don't want to have to scroll through all of these. You can check mark the ones that you want. And after the rollout, there will be a button up here that the patrons as well. This will be on the staff client side and on the patron side that will allow you to just choose those titles. So then you can start to look at them to see if that's what you want. So you don't have to scroll through. I think we get about, I don't know, 25 items on a page. So I think that'll be a help for searchability and findability for both us and for the patrons. One of the things that's also coming up is Overdrive and Koha will be integrated. So that will mean that your patrons will be able to access records right from Koha for Overdrive. We can check things out. They can place holds. It will get better because right now it's not totally linked with Libby, but from the Libby end of it, you could go on to Libby and then access your holds or your checkouts from there. If you actually click on the item now, it will download it right onto your browser to watch, but I don't really read much from my laptop. So, but for those that do, it's a good feature. So there will be some things that improved with it, but at least we're starting to get a better relationship with Overdrive. Right now, as you'll see at the top of here, you can see the results for in the Overdrive collection. We don't pull in Overdrive records because the record management would be too hard for us. But if you have a title that's in the catalog that does have an Overdrive record, you'll be able to see that. So I'm looking forward to that. And I do have a link to that if you're interested in seeing what Bywater posted on their website. I'll include that in the link to the handout. All right, so I'm going to go to the staff client side now and get back here. Some of the things that are coming that will help us manage our libraries are we should be able to create some subgroups or hierarchical groups. And what this would mean if we were a big branch system is we could make groups of libraries that were close together that we would group together for circulating. Well, since we don't really share that way, the only application that we think that we can have for that would be to take Frank Carlson's patrons and put them in a separate group. I had a conversation yesterday with Bywater, and we're kind of investigating how that would work. So I'm hoping that that would help us manage that particular group of patrons who don't participate in the one patron, one account. There is a new feature that's a standalone check-in model that I don't believe that we're really going to roll out because it has some problems. It'll allow patrons to check things in, but it doesn't trigger holds and it doesn't trigger transfers. So that's just something that's off into the future that if we had someone that wanted to use it, we could talk about it, but I don't think that's
it would be a good add-on to those that use the self-checkout module, but I don't think it's quite ready for what we need. So hopefully in the next upgrade after this one, they'll get it so it triggers those notifications that these books need to go to the other library.
Well, yeah, but right now,
we'd have
to do double check-ins, so it's just something
right.
like
I mean, the goal is there, I just haven't reached it yet.
Yeah, so one nice exciting thing with our one patron, one account, and I can't even demo this on either side, but we'll be able to merge patron accounts. So what this will do is you'll have, say you put the name Smith in and you've got 3 Mary Smiths, you'll be able to merge 2 of Mary's accounts. You won't be able, so it will merge everything about it, the circ history, all their holds, all their fees, all their fines. And then you can also then track the former card number if there was any question about that. So I'm really excited about that. It'll be really great for our librarians and it'll be easier for us to manage. And then you can actually populate that home library has been chosen, but it'll take the guesswork out.
Yes.
And this has been long in the making. I looked back, this idea was launched in 2012.
Oh, wow.
And it's finally come.
Yay, I'm so glad it's here.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that feature.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, so that's pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead here and log in as me and show you a couple things. So one of the things that they've done is taken in the details page, there's this borrower number, and this is really, it's more important in the back end, but they're going to be placing this on every details page for the patron. So it will be located underneath here. So if you're on the checkout screen, it'll be here again. So it's nice to have more information spread across all the different pages. So looking forward to that. For those of you that have fines and fees, we'll be able to create in the drop down. I'm going to go ahead here. We'll be able to create in the description, say for instance you have an amnesty day or you do a food drive day or they use cash or a credit card or however you collect your fines, we'll be able to add more descriptions. So if you have a list of different ways that people are paying, please let us know and we'll go ahead and add that. You'll also be able to void payments. So for instance, if somebody came in and paid and they brought the book in, you can void it. There's ways to create credits, but there's a little bit of a problem with that right now. They're working on it, and hopefully by the time we roll it out, it'll be fixed. But if you experience this later, say the cost of the book is $17.50, and it rounds it up to $18. The way to get around that is to pay $17 and then pay 50 cents. So I'm hoping that they fix that, but just a heads up that may be something that you need to do so it doesn't create a credit. Being in this end of it, we don't deal so much with what you guys deal with in terms of managing the financial end of it. So whenever there's an issue with this, please let us know, because in the other people that I deal with in Koha USA and with Bywater, this fine and payment thing is really big. So when we're sitting back here behind our desks, we want to make it work for you. So please let us know if there's something we can help you with.
And I'm going to add to that, Margie, and just say, and if you can give us a specific example, like direct us to a patron or whatever, that helps us recreate the error if we need to, but see exactly what you're seeing. And then when we create the ticket, we have an exact example for them. Because if we just give a general description of the problem, we can't really address it.
Yeah, and a screenshot works wonders, so appreciate that. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, here's kind of a fun thing. So here's my checkout screen. I've got 4 things checked out. So let's say you have a patron that has 25 things. I know there's a lot of homeschooling moms that check out lots of materials, or, you know, or in the instance of youth services, right? What you can do is you can have you can find out what the item type count is. So in my list down here, you'll see I have an audio, a book, I have 2 of those, and a DVD. So if you're wondering what kind of things that are made up of those, the checkouts, that's something that you can easily click on and access. In the edit screen under the patrons, they're changing this field to gender instead of, you know, I think it says sex on some page. So that's one of the things that they felt like they had to fix. I don't know, wasn't a problem for me. When you add restrictions, they are adding the date that the restriction was created. So there's no question about that. And the cataloging end of it, we'll be able to do some mark mapping. So the 260 field and the 264 field that are copyright dates, I'll be able to drive them into one field. So that'll be really helpful. Right now we have a report that divides them up. So if you're trying to figure out how old your collection is, this will be really helpful. There is a report right now that has the information for both fields, but it's really a problem because you have to take the data and do averaging, and I don't like working with it, but it's the best we have, so this will help a lot. In the holdings field, let's see here. When we go ahead and attach holdings, let's see. This is just a little thing that they added. So go here. So in the edit screen, when you're editing your items or adding holdings, all of this right now is far left justified. It's all going to be moved to the right. So it'll be a lot easier for it. It'll be lined up and better visibility. So that's one thing they thought would help us. So good for them.
That would make it easier to read, I think. Yeah,
definitely. We have a cataloging log that we don't ever use because it has it not only keeps track of all the cataloging that has been done, but it also keeps track of all the circulation. Well, Bywater has taken the circulation end out of it, and we will be able then to just see the cataloging end of it. So we've had some incidents in the past where records have not stuck or they've disappeared or whatever, and having this cataloging log on will help us keep better track of that. We will be able to add YouTube videos to records. So for instance, Patty was really excited. She and Diane can make a video of a puppet and add that. And that's going to be in the 856U field of the MARC record. And that'll be kind of fun. So if you have something that you're cataloging and you found something you'd like to add a video to, let me know and I'll kind of talk with you about how we can make that happen. Okay, so those of you that do Z3950 searching, the highlighted window the highlighted bar will be yellow now, and where the actions are, it will be a drop down. So that hopefully they're hoping that makes the record more visible when you're importing.
Yeah, that before it was like just a darker gray that it highlighted in the Z3950, and now that yellow should make it easier to see. Oh, that's the one I just looked at.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good nice little feature to be
Yeah.
added there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna flip over here. You can see that, Mary Beth? Can you see that one? Okay, so this
Yes.
is the test site that Bywater has out, and I'm kind of disappointed because I thought it would have more things that I could show you. But one of the things that will be a change is in the circulation tab. Remember how we used to just have the link was just by words or the sentence or the description of what it was linking to. They've gone to the button format, so they're hoping that it's easier for people to find things and do what they're intending to do in the circulation tab.
So it kind of looks like maybe the order isn't different. It looked like maybe they put the order different on it, but let me.
Yeah. I think the order's the same. It's just
the order's the same. Oh, they made 2 columns into 3 columns is what
right. They kind
yeah.
of split it out to make it a little easier, just for
Okay.
make it more user friendly and usability. The reports, there's a lot going on with reports. I'm not going to get too deep into those because a lot of it affects more those of us that are writing them, but you can, if you're running your reports, let me see here if I can even get to that. So if you go, when you go into the landing page, you'll be able to do a keyword search right here instead of having that whole list in the smaller little boxes where you could populate your search.
Can you still search by number, like the report number?
Yeah, you can. So, so for instance, use save. Okay, here's our use save. See, I have to figure out where it is. So here it is. You can still go to it and search by number if you know that. You can, here's a kind of something that they've added is the column visibility. So let's say you just don't want to deal with all that. You can limit, if I don't want this particular, I can do away with the ones that I don't want to use to make it easier to see what is my report screen on. Now it's not permanent. You have to do it every time you go in. But
that's what I was going to ask.
But it at least will help you when you're dealing with it. They've added the exporting buttons here. You can export more reports now. The long lost overdues is one that you can export from that other page, which is one that everybody needs to work on. So they're just trying to make it a little easier, trying to make it more user-friendly, etc. Okay, so one of the other things that are coming when you're actually working with your reports, you can, just gonna try this. I've not done this one. No, that's not what the point is that you're not going to have to go back and forth within your reports. Like you should be able to save the reporting. So it's just to try to make it easier for everyone that's dealing with them. Again, it'll be something that when we get it going and experience it, I think it'll be easier to understand what they're attempting to do. For those of you that haven't seen or haven't noticed, we have enabled text messaging. I'm going to go back to our side, and I'm going to go. So just to get you familiar with that, on our side, the staff client side, here's how this is going to look now. We changed SMS to read text, and you can choose, the patrons can choose what text messaging that they want sent, text, hold, item checked in, item checked out, etc. In the edit screen, if a patron comes in and they want to do this and you want to help them, it's all the way at the bottom, and try to make it as easy for you to use as possible. The first thing that has to be done before this box can even be populated, you have to choose the provider and enter the number with no hyphens. I had a question about people that use Straight Talk or track phones. Those particular carriers use all the towers of the other major mobile carriers, such as Verizon or AT&T, Alltel, what have you. So if your patron's not sure, if you go ahead and click on this, it'll take you to a screen where you can look up the number. and that it will tell you exactly what the carrier is, and then you can go ahead and sign up, choose the carrier from the list. So in the drop down, you'll see I've added quite a few carriers already, but if you encounter one that's not on the list, please let me know, or Mary Beth, and it's very easy to add. There's a track phone prepaid, but most of those straight talks are all under one of these other carriers, and it's really difficult to differentiate. So just have to do a little communicating, and we'll get your patron set up. I think since I put this into the system, we've got about 15 people already signed up for it. So let me show you what it looks like on the patron side, because they too can do this. So here's my messaging. I'm working on this a little bit. I have a couple things to clean up. I want to try to get rid of some of that, but I tried to make it look as close to our side as possible. So if you're working with the patrons, we're not trying to look around for different information. So for the patrons, I added things like, for instance, some charges for text messaging may be incurred. Here's explanation about what they're signing up for and how this works for them. I am going to try to clean this up. It's just some coding that I have to work with, but trying to make it better. One of the things I do want to point out, people do complain that some of these messages come out in the middle of the night, especially the email, and that would be not necessary. I've tested this for me, and it works great for when you check in and check out. That's real time. But your holds field, or the hold that's been filled, or for instance, if you have overdues and that's sent to you, it comes out in the middle of the night, like at 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's because it's hard for all the data to be pulled from the system without the possibility of interrupting our day-to-day work. So I can set this up to have it done like at 6 o'clock in the morning. They asked about a 2-hour lead time from the first, from the opening time of the library. So I've looked around, and it looks like the earliest opening time is 8 o'clock. So I think Mary Beth and I figured 6 o'clock was better than 2 o'clock in the morning. So just something that's always going to be a problem. But you know, people that do have smartphones, they can put a do not disturb sign, activate their phone into a do not disturb mode. But I really like the convenience of it. In fact, I'm about ready to turn off my email because I like the text part better. So okay, so those are the highlights of what's going on. Does anybody have any questions or? Okay.
I don't see any questions yet. You can always unmute your microphone, or you can text it or type it into the chat box there, and I'll read it out for everybody. So I did just reiterate that the text messaging thing is set up for now. We don't have to wait for the update to do that.
Right.
And I think a lot of these features are going to be nice, and we just have to remember, of course, to clear out your browser cache on November 16th after the update goes through.
Right. And one of the other things that I am going to try to do is get a test server, so I'll be able to help, you know, illustrate a lot of these things that are going on. Right now, we're kind of at the mercy of just, they show us what they can show us, and then it's, until it's activated, we're not really able to see it. There's lots of tutorials. If anybody's interested in those, I can send you the link. I'll add that link to the handout I have, and you can go onto the Bywater website and see what they've got rolling out. But even some of the things that they showed us in their tutorial videos, they can't really show us till they actually activate the system. So, you know, hopefully then we can kind of be more in the experimental mode and kind of see what's going on there. So we're trying to add more things and make it more user-friendly. So just give us a shout if you've got any problems. I always appreciate people telling me when things aren't working. and I try not to break it. So
I always joke that I never use Pathfinder until somebody tells me there's a problem with it. So you guys are actually our guinea pigs, or
right.
You're our testing group. So if you notice an error, don't just assume that we already know about it. Give us a heads up.
Yeah.
If we notice it's a system-wide thing, we'll put it out on our email listserv. If we notice that it's more of a particular to your branch kind of thing, then we'll work with you to get it resolved as quickly as we can.
Yeah. And I think they are getting better with that. I'm going to be having monthly conversations with Bywater, so we're a little bit, so we don't get blindsided by surprises. One of a recent thing that I noticed was the long lost overdue charging the patron accounts. So I'll send out a new how-to on that, but they've made it a lot easier. It's just they didn't, I was unaware that that was happening. So anyway, just we'll try to stay ahead of it and let you guys know what's happening. And you can look forward to more videos. I'm going to try to get some of those produced and up on our YouTube channel. Also, it's always good to go on to the Bywater site. They do a really great job explaining some of the features that they have. And yeah, I think we're good to go. So Linda, yeah, you should, no, you'll have to do the emptying on the 19th. This is going to happen at the 15th at 9 o'clock at night. So when you get in, the first time that you're open after the update, you'll have to do all that cache clearing. So,
yep.
All right. Well.
All right. Yeah, I'll make sure that this is up and I'll post the archive with Margie's handout that goes along with the session. So thank you everybody for joining us today.
Bye.